so let's ring the bell.
Through the confidence, there had to be some concerns. What worried you? Was it about timing and making sure everyone hit their times, or was there anything else that you were potentially worried about making sure it would run smoothly?
So, look, time was of the essence. I think we went off the air right at 3 hours or right under 3 hours, and
Which
that
is
was
awesome.
that was our goal. We had more pay-per-view time, but we did not want to use it because I think I think a 3 hour show is too long. But we had a lot of matches and we got it in 3 or under. So I think we did that. But that was my biggest concern was I didn't want to go heavy and make it everybody wait too long to see Rick, and because I do feel like even though all those talents showed up and busted their humps and man had great matches and put together a great show for us. I'm not talking any less about them, but it was about Ric Flair. Yeah. And so we wanted to make sure we had time enough for Ric Flair and not at the end of a long, drawn-out pay-per-view. Oh, now here's Ric Flair. Bing, bang, boom, Bob's your uncle. Dun, dun, dun. Da-da. You know what I mean? Get there and give me what I came for. And so, yeah, that was my biggest concern, and it turned out it wasn't a concern at all, man. We timed it out a way, and we nailed it. We nailed it in a way that WWE doesn't nail it all the time. So man, it was an awesome experience behind the curtain as well.
It was fun being between you and Scott, discussing the times, like, yeah. we're one light, we're one heavy, it's evening out, we're doing well.
And we were, man, and it was like he kept looking at me like, we're right on time, you know what I mean? And I was thinking, there's no way. But man, it worked out that way. Like I said earlier, man, something special about that night.
Was there any segment that you knew would have to be cleaned up day of show?
Look, the Frank the Clown thing came together, and there were a lot of changes to that as far as talent and who and where and when. Some was booked, some got canceled. Who's going to do it? Some Hammerstone, bless his heart, was coming out and going to do that spot for us, but he got delayed and he couldn't make it to Nashville in time. Yep. Hopefully we will see him in the future as well, and thank him for trying. But yeah, a lot of changes went into that particular segment. It was on the pre-show, but it was the only thing I felt a little less control over. And we orchestrated and put it together exactly how we wanted to, but I just felt a little out of control of that one. And maybe it was Frank the Clown, and maybe his inexperience, or I don't know him that well. I don't know. He did great. He really did. He did great. As soon as promo, he said,
"Yeah, we'll get to that later. I could probably get to it." He said, okay. We'll get to it on the match breakdown.
Like, I hope Ric Flair dies, and I said, hit Fatu's music. I said, that's all he needed to say to see me wanted to get his head kicked off.
Yeah. Day of show is here, and the atmosphere behind the scenes is hectic, as there's a lot to get done, a lot of variables, and not a lot of time. On a WWE pay-per-view, the crew usually has about 6 to 8 hours from call time to show time to make everything happen creatively. On this show, we had about 3 hours or so. Were you stressing?
Yes, I was. But I knew that if we could talk about a color scheme, talk about lighting, talk about what Ric Flair's entrance looked like, Jeff had a good idea what he wanted his, and we could just throw everything at the rest of them. You know what I mean? A lot of that we had made video packages or received video packages from a lot of the independent companies, yep. And so we could play their video package or whatever while or their entrance, video walls. But I knew that we could just throw lights and lasers and everything else at everybody else's, because look, normally I walk through every entrance on the show. Yeah. With 3 hours, not even really. Doors were at 3:30, and we got out of the production meeting about 1:30. So really we had about 2 hours to try to do everything, and I knew right then it wasn't realistic. So I thought, prioritize, compartmentalize. What do we need to get right? And man, it came together and we got it right. And it seemed like Josh Smirnoff, the guy who made the vodka, made all the Titantrons. What's his last name? Chernoff. My bad. That's me.
Not Smirnoff.
I'm a
Chernoff.
recovering alcoholic. I apologize. Josh Chernoff.
Chernoff.
Josh Chernoff. That's a mouthful.
Speaking of mouthfuls.
So apparently he made all the Titantrons, and a lot of the lower third graphics and stuff like that. So look, he's another one of the unsung heroes that I wanted to mention today on this episode called Unsung Heroes.
Some changes had to be made right away as travel issues caused a cancellation and other delays led to switching of the match order. Do things like this always happen on big events where you got to make some shifts and changes?
So look, not normally, especially not normally on an event this size, of this magnitude. But what couldn't be helped is the weather, and the weather was the reason for the only hiccups that we had as far as travel and reordering the show. Now, look, we reordered the show a couple of times, you and I and Conrad just kicking it around. But, of course, this day of decision, and that's what was great about this. I was literally signing autographs and taking pictures in the day and then jumping through hoops on text threads like, oh, they can't make it? Get so-and-so here. What if we use so-and-so? And so a lot of that stuff, the Diamond Dallas Page thing came along at about 2:00 in the afternoon on Sunday. so things were changing up until day of and then some. But look, that's you learn to roll with the punches and control kind of what you can control, and the rest of it is out of your control. Now look, I think I said it a million times and I'll say it again. I showed up with the attitude that I'm going to do everything I can. I believe everybody else showed up with that same attitude, man.
So just before the pre-show is getting ready to start, Sim Bodie, one of the producers on the card, comes up to me and says, "Have you seen the AAA guys?" I come to you and explain that they haven't shown up yet. What goes through your head at that moment that we don't even have a match here right now?
So look.
You're like, cut it.
to be totally honest, I think that's what I said first. Was cut it. We got too many matches anyway. However, I am so thankful I didn't cut it, and we did find them, and we just weren't looking in the right place. They were there, and we weren't aware of it. So we thought they hadn't showed up yet. Turns out they were there and just not where we were looking. They showed up and showed out, man. Couldn't be thankful enough for AAA, letting us have those four guys. And bro, did they put on a performance, man. That Ray Phoenix is something to behold. But he was the best, but holy mackerel, the other three were just as good. It's crazy. That Taurus, whoever that guy is.
Taurus was wild.
Hey, he worked that entire match with that thing on his face,
and he saved Bandito.
Saved Bandito's life
breaking
one
his
time.
neck. Yep.
Yeah.
Bandito went for the somersault plancha. He caught him
in a
almost
tombstone.
landed on his head. Caught him in that, and then brought him up for the sunset over. It was amazing, spectacular.
To the code red. It was. Look, some amazing stuff in there. And again, so thankful for AAA for loaning us those four talent. Those four talent were incredible, and we thank you guys for sharing them with us.
Pre-show starts